Okay, so array. So what is an array? So array holds a list of values of scalars. The values can be numbers, strings, or another arrays. Array start with @. So that is how we write array. Okay, so we don't have in C we will have something like array. We'll have some name of the array and we'll have brackets and then the value of the array. We don't have like that. We'll have array name like C, but we'll be having an @ of symbol to specify it is an array. Okay, so as I said that the list can contain a combination of characters, combination of scalars. So you can see that it can have either a single element, or it can have multiple element, or it can have multiple different kinds of element. Okay, so this is the basic difference between C and Perl, or people who have programming experience on some other language, because you can see that this array here can accept any kind of non-related items. So you can have a character array, you can have an integer array, you can have a floating kind of data in the array, but in C, or C++, but here it is different, wherein you can have different kinds of data. It can be a combination of integer and float together, or you can have a float and a string. So this is where Perl is very much different. So it does not need basic data types. It will be specifying all this as a single data. Okay, so the next is array of weekdays. So we have weekdays as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So how do we specify is, we'll start with this is the name of the array and equal to, then we have this bracket starting, and we'll close this braces and we'll put each value as a string. And since this each value is not having a special meaning or special character, we can put in single quotes only. So that is how an array is written. So we can either write like this, or like this. And if you want to print weekdays, if you want to just print weekdays, it will print you the value of the weekdays, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if you want to print like this using double quotes, also interpolates the array. So it will also print. But if you just print in single quotes @ weekdays, it will just print as a string, that is @ weekdays only, because it will not understand that @ has some special significance. That's how we should be very careful. If you have any Perl script or anything you want to write, you have to be very careful of where to use the single quotes and double quotes. It's always safe to use the double quotes, because double quotes is like you can use anywhere and it will interpret everything properly. Only thing is, if you want to use only strings which has no specific meaning, you can use single quotes. Otherwise, it's safer to use double quotes. So go to the next slide. So working with an array. So index of array starts with 0. So it is very much similar to C or C++, wherein how the array representation is done. So you have this A0, A1, A2, like AN, whatever, we will have n number of array. Generally it starts with 0, so it will be n minus 1 is the last element in C. Here we'll be starting with 0, array 1, and we can also have array -1, -2, which will be from the back. So if you want to do array -1, -2, it will be from the end, last or previous we can specify. And you saw in the quiz that there was something like $hash. So $hash gives you the last index. So it gives you the last element, basically index, and if you want to print that, it will print to the last value. So basically this is a special variable in Perl which has a special meaning. This is very much important. This is a special variable in Perl which has a special meaning, and this is basically used to print the last index. And we can assign a value of an element by just assignment. How do we do that? Is just we want to print the values. So say you are having this array. You are having arrays as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We are printing in double quotes $weekdays 0. So it will print to the first element, that is Monday. Then weekdays 4, we will print the fifth element, because 0 is the first. So 1 is second, 2 is third, 3 is 4th. So 4 is the 5th element. So it prints the 5th element, which is the Friday. So this is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So it goes till Friday. If you print 6, prints nothing, undefined. So there is something called undef in Perl, and it will not print 0 because this is a list, so it will print undefined. So the list must have some values, and since this is out of boundary condition, it will print undef. We will go as on when we go the future classes, we'll understand it better. Okay, and we can have this fruits equal to apples, bananas, and cherries. This is how we assign. We can directly assign the fruits in the brackets, and we can directly pass as strings, and it will be assigned as the array elements. Say again, we have that more food, guava, and fruits. So you can also assign another array, like you have one array which is having apples, bananas, and cherries. So you pass it to more food, so you'll have guava, apples, bananas, and cherries as the new array. So that's how array works, wherein you can have a combination of scalars which can be different, or it can be different array also. That is a good thing in Perl, you can directly assign. And if you just do print $more food, it prints you if you see this more food, so this more food is like the last index. It is not the element. So if you just do the last index, that is like you have now guava, apples, bananas, and cherries. So four elements are there, but it will start with guava is 0, apples is 1, bananas 2, cherries 3. So it will print the last index, that is 3. So this is called a special variable in Perl. Perl has many special variables. As on when we go further, you will understand it better. So if so this is a question. If hash array represents the last index, then what does $array displays? Okay. Now this you can understand very simply. This will be this is the last array index, but you can, when we specify in the array, then it will be like what? It will be you want to specify that you want to pass this index in the array. So it will just print the last index value basically, right? So if you see here, it is same as, because the $array index gives you the index plus 1, so array prints the last element. So it prints you the last element. So prints the last element value. The reason being, because we are having $array and this in brackets, so we are passing this as, say, if it is 3, so you want to print array and then in the brackets 3, so it prints the last element in the array. Okay. So the next question. So array is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the value of array -2 and array 2? So it is like, what is the value? So it is very simple. Array -2 goes from back. So it is like, so if it is, this is -1, -2. Okay. And so this is the -2 element, the second last. And if you go to array 2, so array 2 is array 0, array 1, array 2. So array 2 is 2. Because array 2 is not the second element. In fact, it is the third element. So it becomes array 2 is 2 and array -2 is 5. So you can see, like, answer is 5 and 2. So I hope I am clear on this. So we'll go to the next slide, which is hash. So these are more further concepts. You must go through these slides because this is very much exhaustive, and you must it might not be very easy for you to understand in the first instant, because there's a lot of concepts. You must go through the slides and practice yourself and in your home, in your laptop or in your PC, and you must execute these programs, and then you will come to know. And then probably once you are hands-on on executing, then whatever your doubts are there, you can just put in the forum and I can answer. But these are concepts which you must program so to understand it better. So hashes. So this is one very important concept in Perl, where it provides you a hash, which is an associative array. So what is an hash? Hash provides you key value pairs. So basically, when we saw an array, we had just the values we'll have array 0, 1, 2, or you will have $A, $B, $C, and we'll have the value as strings or integer, whatever it is, but or combination. But here you see that there are two things. It is like a hash implementation where each will have an index and a value. So when we say an hash element, this element 1 is reference to January, 2 refers to February, and 3 refers to March. So the hash contains 3 elements. Hash is preceded by the symbol percentage, and hashes are like arrays, but instead of having numbers as their index, they can have scalars as their index. So the hashes have scalars as their index. So they will have index as 1, 2, 3, and the value as Jan, Feb, March. So basically 1 corresponds to Jan, 2, Feb, 3, March. Similarly, if you have hash like this 1, Jan, 2, Feb, 3, March, this is also correct. This is also correct because when we specify key values, so 1 is the key and the value is Jan. Okay. I have a question which Rahul says, what is the question? We give key as per our choice. Okay. If you are asking, you want to have key as per your choice, of course. Key, and when we declare the array, okay, you can specify as per your choice. You can have anything. You can in fact have anything, because we are not specifying anything specific. If it is something specific, then it is fine, but it is something very generic. You are telling that the first index is Jan 2, so it is something. If you go here, you can have any index as any value. If you go further, so if you go further, you will come to know what is the hash. Any index can have any value, and even I told you that the indexes can be scalars, and the scalars can be an integer, or it can be a float, it can be a string, anything. So it need not matter it is in some order or something, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is just an index. Okay, fine, Rahul. So basically this is an index and the value. So this is what it is. So if you go to the next slide, you can understand what it means. So hash keys are unique. Okay, the keys are unique. You cannot have apples to red and again apples to yellow. So it must be unique. Perl won't throw an error if user tries to access the key which is not available. So it will not throw an error. That is also something. Once you program, you will understand this. You can assign hash to an array. This is also possible. As we can assign an array to an array, you can also assign a hash to an array. Use braces, not parentheses, while fetching the values of a key. So how do we want to print each element of an hash? So first thing is, as Rahul asked this question, wherein how it is, do we need to specify the index, or it can be anything? Yeah, it can be anything, but it should be unique. So it can be integer, it can be, the previous slides you can see we are not putting a quotes in 1 because it is already an integer, or I should not say integer, it is already a scalar and it is not a string. But when we tell it is a string, we have to put the quotes, single quotes or double quotes, and this apples means red, bananas means yellow. So you are putting this in quotes, and this is your key, and this is a unique key. So, and when you want to print a hash element, once you want to print the hash element, you just do print and $fruit. So if you remember array, we used to do print and @ instead of, we will have @fruit, and we will also print $fruit, which refers to the fruit array, and we'll put the value in the bracket like 0, 1, 2, whatever we want to print. But here in hash, what we do is, it is also print, and instead of array that @ here for hash it is percentage, we put just the $, because it's a scalar. But instead of a bracket and putting the index, we will put this braces, basically parentheses, and inside which one we want to print. So this is the index. So you can see the bananas is the index. So bananas, when we want to print the bananas value, it is yellow. So hash is used for very fast searching. So hash is a data structure wherein if you want to search any element in a data structure, if you use the hash implementation, it is very, very fast because of this key value pair. So instead of, see, when you take an array, it starts with some index 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is in a sequential fashion when you want to search. But when you use a hash, it is not in a sequential array. You want to search, say you want to search this bananas, okay, in the fruit hash. So it will immediately give you the result. This is not a small, this is a small hash, but if you see the actual hash implementation, if you in C or anything, the hash implementation, it is like very complex, wherein you will be fetching lot of, you will have lot of information, lot of data structure from where you want to just print the find a value. So while searching and all, if you are searching the hash, then it is very fast. And the thing is, hash in the Perl, if you say in Perl, the best advantage of hashes is you can associate any kind of index to any value. So as on when you do complex programming, you will come to know why hash is used. Okay, arrays we will be just passing different data types, but hash you can associate a key value pair. So as on when we go in the further examples, I will tell you clearly why hash has more importance. It is only implementation specific. If you are not requiring hash implementation, you can go ahead and use just arrays, but you can implement very complex implementation using hash. Okay, so let's move forward. As on when you go in the complex codes, you will come to know. So we'll cover why hash is used. We'll take some real-time example and we'll tell you. But most of the time, array is more than enough if you are not implementing a very hardcore data structure. So basically, these are called data structures. Okay, these are data structures wherein you are having some value of the data structure. Either you are having a similar kind of data, or you are having different kind of data, or you can have index and value, index value. This is basically used for searching. So if you want to search in a hash, it is very fast. If you want to search in an array of 1 lakh elements, hash will give you the faster output. Okay, but few people will implement in hash because these are complex data structures. So as I said, once you go in the further, so you will come to know about it. Okay, so we'll say you can just print it as $fruit and guava and equal. You can, if you want to print, you can just do a print. And if you just want to add elements, so as I said, similar to array, if you can just use the equal to sign and put the element, or you can put multiple elements if you want to assign. Just you have to have different hash index. So that's how the assignation is done. Okay, so I'll move to the next slide. So $array is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and $hash equal to array. What are the keys of the hash? Okay, so you can see that I am assigning the keys of the hash, the array to the hash. Okay, I'm having the elements as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what are the keys of the hash? So if you see the output, so these are all are arrays. So you want to understand. I don't want to explain because the reason being, hash is a complex data structure. How it is assigned and all, you must know hash in very much detail to understand. So 1, 3, 5, all odd elements of array are keys of hash, and all events are corresponding odd elements keys. So this is something complex wherein 1, 3, 5. So if you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 5 odd elements of an array are keys of hash, and all even there are corresponding odd element keys. Okay, so that's how hash assignation is done. So if you want to assign array to an hash, you have to be very, very careful, because in this assignation you might lose out some data. You might not have the proper data because you have to take care that hash, the array is properly converted to hash. So the thing is, we have to be very careful in writing hash. Hash is not a joke, it's not very simple. You must take care that each and every element is properly interpolated. So as on when we go in detail, or in the further classes, we will be covering hash in detail. So you can just remember how the assignation is done. you can just remember. Later we'll speak about it. So we have this percentage hash equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6. What is the output of the percentage hash? So again, we are having the hash as 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what we are doing is we are just having the hash value. So if you see this hash, so we are having percentage hash and the values and we are having key value pairs. But here we are not here we are having just this as an array, like with just 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what is the output of print percentage hash? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Percentage hash or 1 3 5. Again, we have to go and understand this. Perl considers percentage hash as a string when printed in double or single quotes. So this is very important. When you put this in a string, when you put this in a double quotes, this will identify this as a string. So what will happen is it will print this the hash value as a string. Okay, it will not print. Perl consider percentage hash when printed in double or single quotes. So it will print the entire hash as a string value. So that is what it is. So it will print what? It should print this as percentage hash only. So that is what it is. So you should be very careful when we want to print, because this kind of things are happening in hash wherein it is not very much similar in the implementation of an array where we can directly do this in double quotes. It is different. So we have to be very careful in printing or assigning how to hash. It can give you some errors or it will be difficult to debug. So as on when you are writing complex codes on hash, you can understand this. So we'll move to the next slide. So what is the difference between array and hash? So just now Rahul asked this question, what is the difference between array and hash? So here this is the complete answer. I answered partly. So you can see that array has elements stored in predefined index. So this array will be having this predefined index as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 if you have 5 elements. If you have just 2 elements, you will have just 0, 1. But hash is not like that. Hash is like there are values and it is associated to keys, and where these values are stored in memory, no one knows. This is like this mapping of keys and values. It is stored internally by the Perl interpreter, how it is stored in memory. So how Perl identifies this, that is internal to Perl. But this is how hash and array is different. You can see that array elements are stored in predefined index. An array is a list of ordered elements, useful when ordering is important. So we want the ordering to be right. As Rahul asked this question, the hash can have any index, any key and value, but this cannot start with 4 and end with 100. Okay, it must have the 0 element as Monday or something, otherwise we are not assigning the initial elements. And we always know that the first element is most important in array. The rest of the things are fine. You can assign, you cannot assign, it will print some junk character, or it will just print that it's not existing. But you must have some element in the first element, that is 0, array 0. That is not the case in hash, wherein this hash elements are stored as user defined key and index. Hash is a list of unordered elements stored in random memory. So as I said, how it is stored, it is not a sequential order of elements. It is stored in a random memory. They are faster while fetching. Yeah, that is the main answer. They are faster while fetching the values than that of the arrays, because if you go for binary search or you go for quick like any kind of search, like a search algorithm, then and you have plenty of data to search, plenty of data structure, lakhs of data structure, hash will give you the fastest output. And this hash implementation, this is a Perl hash implementation, but if you see in C or any C++ or any data structure implementation of hash, it will be hash which is the fastest. So this is very important. If you know hash, it is very good, but it is not very easy to move around with hash, how to assign and all. It is little difficult. So once you master the concepts, first you start with scalar, then you go to array, and then you finally go to hash. And if you want to assign array to hash, be very careful. First you should very much be clear about the concepts of array, hash, and scalar, and then you want to play around with array and hash. Otherwise, it will be disastrous because you will not get the proper output. You are expecting something, you will get something else. So this is very important, which gives you the differences between hash and array.